We're going to talk about the fastest way to reduce inflammation in the body. Hello? Hey, someone showed up. That's awesome. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to learn the fastest way to reduce inflammation in the body. So the way to do it is introducing when I started my anti-inflammatory journey, which is a gut healing journey in 2015, because I had so much pain in the body and I started gaining what's called menopausal weight, and back pain and knee pain and pains were getting worse, and my chronic skin condition, skin flare-up got so bad that I had to find a solution. And steroids stopped working. So at that point, I started what's called anti-inflammatory diet. The idea is very, very simple. Taking out or reducing inflammatory foods out of your diet and adding something that will support your gut health. So that was the idea. Just by doing that, just by taking out most potent inflammatory foods, I was able to stop using steroids in 2 weeks. And I gradually removed more foods that's inflammatory and adding more superfoods, such as customized kimchi for myself, because back then my body was not responding very well to Korean red pepper flakes, which is a part of nightshades. What was really interesting of this, through the course of 3 years from 2015 to 2018, I had burst of energy that I never had before. I got a flat belly that I never thought that was possible to have. And I got clear skin for the first time in my life without steroids in 30 years. So that was almost a miracle. And I had so much less joint and muscle pain. And I felt really good when I woke up in the morning, just sprung out of bed, and my mood increased and my brain was working again. So that was awesome. But the challenge was there was so much restriction, and there was a struggle there. But it was still worth it because my health was improving. But in 2018, that's where things get really, really, really interesting. I got so sick out of nowhere. Seems like out of nowhere. I had fatigue and really tired all the time, to the point that I was too sick to work for a year and a half. That's when I disappeared from Hungry Gopher because I simply couldn't work. And the terrible brain fog came and so much pain in the body. This is when I found out that diet alone wasn't working. You gotta add a component, some mind-body component, to help you with the whole picture of it. So if you haven't tried, but starting with the diet, because diet it's not even a diet, anti-inflammatory feast is what I want to call it. When you try that superfood that supports your gut and that actually lowers inflammation, and you will notice the difference. So I highly recommend downloading top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes, which is in the description box below, and download it. And you can download those top 3 recipes and try it right away. So that's the first step. So going back, so point B, when I got constant low energy and I had lupus-like symptoms, that it was mysterious. All my blood work turned out perfect, but I was too sick to work for a year and a half. What I found out through the year and a half of research is that some sort of mind-body component has to be there, because diet alone could only do it so much. It's wonderful, but it's not sufficient enough. So if you're thinking about trying anti-inflammatory diet for the first time, you hit the jackpot, because I've done it for 6 years. With trial and errors, I've developed a formula that incorporates simple, delicious cooking using ancient Korean cooking techniques. Also, there's a little mind-body component you have to practice, and you can incorporate that easily into cooking. So that's the fun part. So let me show you the proof about mind-body component of it. So out of curiosity, because it's been working so well, even just it's a natural daily technique. That's what I mean by changing lifestyle. You have to add that little lifestyle change there. It's nothing big. It can be simple breathing technique, because breath is like a bridge between mind and body. And out of curiosity, I posted the daily breathing technique called heart breathing. I do it a couple of times a day. And I posted here on YouTube, and it's going gangbuster. It's so popular that it blows my mind. So as you can see here, this video, how to relieve each skin, a simple 3 steps. It's got almost 100. It's got over 118,000 views already, and people are raving about it. People are claiming that it's really working, and it really helps to reduce skin problem, which is in return that because your inflammation is going down, your skin trouble will subside. I do this a couple of times a day. If you can see here, I actually, I do this technique a couple of times a day. So my first priority is almost always coming to my health. So a couple of times a day, when you have a problem with this, with whether it's your tightening in your chest, or your pain increases, joint or muscle pains, or your skin flares up, this simple breathing technique will really help you. That's a mind-body component of it that you have to incorporate. So think about it this way. When you're eating food, that's like the most superfood that you can find. Let's say kimchi, because kimchi is one of the top 20 superfoods in the world by many people in the health authorities. That you introduce the superfood to improve your gut health. Even if you eat that food, if you eat kimchi, if you're having an argument with your loved one, your stomach will turn inside out. Like will turn. Has anybody experienced that before? That your stomach just turns when you have an argument? So that's the proof of that your immune system is not only protector, but what happens is that when you're in the fight or flight mode, you're not thinking this, but your immune system is sending all the digestive juice, all the energy into your legs and arms, because it goes to fight or flight mode. So that's another component that you add to anti-inflammatory your formula, then you'll get great results. So if you have researched about anti-inflammatory diet and thinking about trying it because you want to relieve your pain or lose belly fat or get clear skin, you hit the jackpot, because I've done this for 6 years and I finessed with the trial and errors and I formulated it. So anti-inflammatory recipes combining with a sort of mind-body practice, even simple breathing technique, will get you a long way. Especially if you're stuck with a diet. If you have tried all kinds of diet, but you haven't gotten the result that you wanted yet, you had some success, but you're stuck again, it could be that the diet is awesome, but you might need a little tweak there in the diet that customizedly feeding you there, also little mind-body components. You have to have it in daily basis, just like you wake up in the morning, there are certain things you have to do, right? The sun comes up and sun goes down every day. It's something you have to practice every day. It's part of your life, but it can be very, very simple. You can just start with very simple, delicious Korean recipes, which is what I got for you. Top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes. You can download it here on my website at hungrygopher.com, or you can download it here in the description box below if you're watching it on social media channels. So if you've just joined, welcome. Thanks for joining in. It's wonderful. And say hello if you have questions. As the questions come up, put your questions there so I can answer them for you. So today we're talking about the fastest way to reduce inflammation in the body. Sophia, that's a pretty name. Hello. Thanks for saying hello. So you can say hello like Sophia. That's awesome. It's wonderful to hear from you guys. So I know I'm not just talking to a green dot. There are beautiful people behind the screen. So it's wonderful to have this community. So if you've just joined, I was talking about the fastest way to reduce inflammation in the body. Oh, before I forget, I'm putting an awesome masterclass, Korean healing gut healing masterclass, and it's gonna be completely free for you guys, and it's gonna be a little different and super fun. I'm putting it together. The date is slated for September 11th, Saturday, September 11th, tentatively at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you mark the calendar. I only do it once every 3 months, so make sure you don't miss out. And when you download that top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes at hungrygopher.com or in the description box below, I'll update you weekly and what's happening and keep you posted with the masterclass. So make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss out. So as I go on, I'm gonna repeat what I discussed earlier. But as I go on, if you have any questions or comments, just type in as I go so I can read them and answer them for you as I go on. So the fastest way to reduce inflammation in the body is eating anti-inflammatory food, meaning superfood for gut health, like kimchi and foods that helps like green leafy vegetables, and take out the highly inflammatory foods. Like one of the top things that you need to focus on is, first of all, you want to eat real food. When you buy processed food, well, it's best you stay away from processed food. But if you're buying some prepped food, which is fine, I buy some as well sometimes, read the labels and see if there are some things that you cannot even pronounce. There are a list of stuff. It's like a PhD thesis. Then you probably don't want that. So make sure you're eating real food. That's the beginning. And also eating organic food will help you because that's gonna get rid of a lot of GMOs, which is genetically modified organism. That's terrible for your gut health. And that usually has very cheap oil, which is highly inflammatory. So taking those out will go a long way. And also remember food pyramid back in school, you know how you learn food pyramid there? If you're eating meat, meat is fine. Meat is great. I eat some meat as well. But you wanna eat the meat that's well raised, not factory farmed. Because factory farmed animals eat mostly GMO fat and they don't exercise. That's the one way animals, we're animated, right? To detox. So you wanna, as the food pyramid goes up, at the top, that's it, that toxicity gets accumulated. So take them out or reduce them at least. Hello, first time here, a moderate carb maven. I love the name. That's awesome. That's awesome. That the carb thing, that's something I want to mention too. A lot of you I've gotten so many emails from you guys talking about that you're thinking about doing anti-inflammatory diets because your doctors recommended, your chiropractor recommended. I think that's awesome. I've been doing anti-inflammatory diet since 2015 and I know it works. It worked for me getting off of steroids that I relied on for 3 decades. And it worked for my mother who struggled with severe back pain that she couldn't stand up straight for a couple of hours when she woke up in the morning. And it worked. It's working and it's been working since 2016. So 2015, so that's awesome. So if you want to try, you hit the jackpot because I've tried for 6 years and I've finessed it and I had a lot of mistakes. So I've tried and errors. I formulated the anti-inflammatory formula. So you're hit the jackpot. If you have any questions, type in or just say hello, like Sophie and the moderate carb maven did. It's awesome to hear from you guys. If any thoughts come up, just comment so I know how I can help you and I could make a video about that for the next time. So if you haven't already, download top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes at hungrygopher.com here, or in the description box below. That way you can start eating something that's super easy and also super good for your gut, which will lower inflammation in the body. That way we can relieve pain very quickly, a lot quicker than you think. And the goal is to eat something delicious. So it's sustainable and it's super fun. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's summer now, so my go-to is not turning on the stove. I make meals with kimchi, pre-made kimchi that make a little quick cold noodle, and that's a 20-minute meal, and I can have it every other day and just mix it up. So in the summer, I don't turn the stove on. I don't cook. I'm gonna have to check it out because I have constant knee pain even after losing, oh wow, over 65 pounds and reversing pre-diabetic. That's amazing. That's amazing. First of all, congratulations, moderate carb maven. That's awesome. Thumbs up. That's amazing. I walk daily and go light lifting, but I'm always sore. That's something I wanted to talk about. Okay, so diet is hugely important. A lot of you I get so many emails from you guys that you have tried all kinds of diet, and you've tried keto, you tried plant-based diet. You're welcome. Thank you. Like, you're getting healthier. It's good for the world. So that's awesome. Thank you for being committed to yourself, being healthy. So I get so many email from you guys. You guys are trying so hard, which is awesome. And you guys are so resourceful. You learn all this information from all different doctors, all different people. You tried all kinds of diet and you lost a lot of weight and you reversed pre-diabetic. My mom did the same thing. After she tried anti-inflammatory diet for 4 weeks, she went back to Korea and she got the blood test, and her pre-diabetic was gone. It was just mesmerizing to see them. But here's the missing component. If you're not getting results from all different diets, your problem might be 2 things. It could be you might need just a little tweak in the diet because one diet doesn't fit it all. Let me give you an example about gluten. Okay, so gluten, I am very sensitive to gluten, but not everybody will be, because you gotta think about epigenetics, how you're born and raised, what your ancestors ate. I was born and raised in Korea. Koreans didn't see wheat until like 1960s, because after Korean War, America actually generously sent Korea wheat to supply what they need to eat, because they're dying from famine. So it's very new to my body, and I'm also in the sensitive scale. But if you have history that if you grew up, your ancestors had wheat for years, you might be okay with it. So one diet doesn't fit it all, and you cannot just take the food chart and that may not fit you. So that's one thing that you want to consider. Another thing is, well, here's another one. When I got so sick out of nowhere after doing 3 years of anti-inflammatory diet, in 2018, when I got so sick, if you have been following me a while, that's when I was gone for a year and a half, because I was too sick to work for a year and a half. I did all kinds of tests, went to see all kinds of doctors, and some doctors are assuming that I had lupus, but all tests turned out negative. And I didn't know what was going on. And even though diet really helped, here's the problem. I got too hyper-vigilant about diet. When you're hyper-vigilant about diet, your immune system is not only protector, but conformer. So anti-inflammatory diets are all about removing the triggers and adding things that support your gut. So by removing it, your immune system, because it's a protector, be maintaining well almost 3 years. That's awesome. Keeping the weight up isn't the issue, but we wouldn't like to solve pain issue. Yep, I'm with you on that one. I'll get to that moderate carb maven. That's a really, really good question. I was stuck in the same problem in 2018. when I got so sick with lupus-like symptoms, with severe pain in the body, joint and muscle pain, and low energy. I was so tired that I couldn't work for a year and a half. And I was catching my breath when I was walking from downstairs to upstairs. So that's how sick I was, but it's reversible. So here's the part. If you've tried all kinds of diet, you got some success, like the moderate carb Maven did. Lost 65 pounds, reversing pre-diabetic. I mean, how beautiful is it? That's awesome. Here's the thing. So it could be you might need a small tweak in your diet because one diet doesn't fit everybody. You are a unique person. You have a unique body. One diet type doesn't fit it all. Here's an example. Okay, if you're looking for doing a anti-inflammatory diet, there are so many books, right? And I read many. And these 3 books, they're really awesome books. But every doctor will talk about just little different things because the data is depending on how that person is interpreting it. So that's part of it. Another part, because your immune system is a conformer, when you're doing hypervigilance of healthy diet, you're not thinking this way, but your system is mostly in hyper alert mode, fight or flight mode. Think about it this way. If you have an argument with someone that you love very much, we all have this before. I mean, I am guilty of it too. Then your stomach turns right. That's like instant response from your immune system. You're not thinking this, it's all running in the background. That all your energy goes into your legs and arms because you're in fight or flight mode. And without you noticing it, somehow your subconscious thing is stuck there, and that's what you need to address. So one quick way, I'm gonna give you a real quick tip, how to work on that. It's one technique that I learned from my mentor, Dr. Mario Martinez, who's a frontier in psychoimmunology, how your thoughts and emotions affect your immune system and endocrine system and nervous system. So it's a quick video that I made about heart breathing technique, and these people who watch this, they're raving about how this breathing technique gives them the relief of each skin. But the idea is the same. You can try the breathing technique when you have pain, and it will reduce the pain. And there are more techniques like that, the daily techniques I do to lower inflammation in the body. But if you're not getting results you want from your diet anymore, could be 2 things, right? It could be a small tweak in the diet, or you need some sort of a mind-body practice there that's missing. So that said, I'm gonna give so the video link is in the description box below. That's awesome. That by maintaining what I would like to solve pain issue, eat mostly low carb, whole foods. Okay, that's another myth about whole food, the moderate carb Maven, that the whole food can be, there's pros and cons on it. Whole food can be really good, but also if your body is sensitive to inflammatory components of food, actually eating whole food, such as eating brown rice, can actually increase your inflammation. So that's another thing that's another mistake I see people making a lot, because a lot of people are on whole food and plant-based diet, and their main diet is mostly grain and beans, and they can really raise inflammation. If your body is prone to responding to those inflammatory components in the food, it's not that the food is bad, it's that part of that food that can raise inflammation in the body that can give you a problem. So that's something, there are many different layers there. So download top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes, and I'm gonna go in depth teaching this. If you're ready, that I'm gonna give a Korean anti-inflammatory healing masterclass. That's a long one. Let's call it Korean healing masterclass. And on September 11th, Saturday, September 11th, tentatively at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So sign up to my newsletter. When you download the top 3 Korean inflammatory recipes, you'll get to my, I'm gonna update you my weekly weekly live like this, and also I'm gonna update you with the master class so you don't miss out. I only give this once every 3 months, so make sure you don't miss out. Mark your calendar, September 11th. That's in mostly whole foods. So that's the carb maven. That could be really that. It's so that's and I cannot. It's and what I'm teaching you here is does not replace medical device. This is integrative. Whatever you are doing, when you do this, you're gonna get great results because it's not one thing or the other. You do all these little things together that makes you healthier. This way, you actually turn on genes that express health. This way, you suppress the genes that might express disease. Pretty powerful stuff, right? Because you're the domain of you're the master of your genes. You're not the victim of your genes. And I'm the living proof of that because I dropped the steroids that I used for 3 decades, right? Or American diabetes professionals top prioritizing grains for the fiber, but other professionals say that's a real question. White rice is easier to digest in spite of a higher glycemic load, but it's less inflammation. Yep, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. That is so there are many. So how we are having conversation is I love that you're so educated. There's so many layers to it, right? So diet is very important, and when you have that inflammatory, try this moderate carb maven because you're eating a moderate carb. I love carbs, so I eat some carb. So I'm choosy about my carb. I do love white rice. I eat it because that's how I grew up. But I'm also when I eat too much cake or something, because that happens when I go to wine country. I eat croissant, then like I'm drinking a lot of wine. I eat cheese. Something I couldn't do something I didn't do for 3.5 years because when I dared it, when I ate a cookie, I was in bed for 3 days, and that stopped me eating any gluten or dairy. But now by practicing mind-body connecting things just by simple breathing techniques, I am actually able to eat a lot of stuff because I am calming my immune system down. It's not, you're not thinking this. It's like, let me put it this, think about it this way. When you're watching a movie, I'm a crier. So when I watch a sad like Korean soap opera or something, I cry my eyeballs out. I'm smart, like you. So I know it's fake, it's just fiction, but I cannot help crying because all the subconsciousness, that emotions doesn't know whether it's real or not. It's same thing here that if you have done healthy diet too long, and if you think you're not doing it perfectly because maybe it's not your problem, you're not the problem. Maybe it's a diet problem because some diets are impossible to follow, and you don't want that. What fun is that? I love eating good food. So that's another component. So moderate carb maven, try this one. Of course, with the advice of your doctors, try removing grains and beans for a week and monitor yourself and how you feel. That might really help you. I love white rice, so I eat them, but I eat them in moderation. But like I said, when I go a little crazy, I eat, like I go to a birthday party or something, or go to wine country, I eat croissant or cake, or I ate out a bunch of food, then I actually take rice out for a few days to balance it out. Sophie Turner, what kind of rice do you eat? If you really like rice, black rice is anti-inflammatory. Good grain is also, millet can be really good grain because it has very low it doesn't have inflammatory property to it, so you can try those. But there are a lot of layers to it. It's highly important to understand that diet is hugely important. I hate to call it diet because it's really feast, like eating good food, eating delicious good food. It's hugely important. Like gut health, superfood is super important. But it's also important to know that it's not the only thing that's very at stake. And if you have prolonged diet too long, that doesn't give you the result, the problem might be at mind-body level. So I'm gonna go in depth talking about this. 7-gram by black, okay, black rice blood measure. Okay, so best way to test it, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing the moderate carb, Maven, that's awesome. So it's awesome. You can see, you guys are like so smart and you guys are so good at trying it when I give you information, and you're very well educated. Like, I respect that. That's awesome. So, all right, I'm hitting the 30-minute mark today. I'm doing great. We're doing great, guys. That's awesome. So make sure you download the top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes and sign up to my newsletter. That signs up to my newsletter so you can get updated. I'm gonna have the master class coming up. Go in depth with this if you're ready. This will be a golden opportunity for you because I only do it every 3 months, so you don't want to miss out. So mark your calendar for now. September 11th, tentatively 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have any questions, any other questions, leave comments in the video or email me, or I'm here weekly on every Thursday at 6 p.m. because I'm committed to help you and share my story. Coming in the late chat, but what are your thoughts on the keto diet to reduce inflammation? Here, that's all right. I'm gonna stay a few minutes late for you. Crown, oh, I don't like Crown of Procurus 82. Okay, my thoughts on that. Initially, any diet that removes highly processed food and highly inflammatory food is awesome. Initially, it's the key. If you're doing the diet too long, I showed this book earlier, 3 books, right? When I was doing research, since I did this for 6 years, when I was doing research, still doing research because all the information changes. Everybody says a little different things, right? Keto diet can be awesome, but no diet is really meant to be doing it for a prolonged time. It's that, especially extreme diet, right? Whether it's fasting, intermittent fasting, keto diet, all these things, if you're doing too long, you got great result if you're doing it for, let's say, a couple of weeks. I did. When I started with anti-inflammatory diet, there was too many food that I couldn't eat on the list, but I removed just 2 things, gluten and dairy, because I was desperate, because steroids stopped working after 30 years of using it. And my body was burning with inflammation, the joint pains and muscle pain. My brain was not working. I'm getting fat on my belly. And I'm yelling at my husband for no reason because I was in bad mood every single day. And just pain was excruciating. So I was desperate. So I tried that for 2 weeks. I was able to get off steroids after 2 weeks of that. That's how powerful this anti-inflammatory diet is, or keto diet. Anything that you're trying that's removing highly processed food and low quality food, they'll give you great results. But the thing is, because you got great results, you're stuck there after you're doing it for 6 months, a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or you keep jumping from one diet to another. If it's not giving you the results, there could be 2 things. One thing might be that your diet needs to be just tweaked a little bit, because not one diet fits everybody. You're a unique person. You're not average. You're a unique body. You might have to try a few things to figure this out. That's one thing. Another thing is your problem might be at a different level. It might no longer be diet. Your diet might be great, but you're hyper-vigilant now that your immune system is on higher alert without you even noticing it, because it's all subconscious mind. When you're in fight-flight mode, think of it this way: when you have an argument with your spouse or the one you love, that your stomach turns red. You're not thinking that like, okay, I'm upset, my stomach is getting upset. It's not that. Your immune system is instantaneously, like immediately responding to what's going on, right? So that's all subconscious. So if you're hyper vigilant about diet, if you have done it for a long time, your immune system might be very tired at this point. Think of it this way: it's like a security guard who never sleeps. Now the security guard is so jumpy, it just shoots the inflammatory chemicals to everything. It's remotely dangerous, not even dangerous, right? So there's a way to address this very simple mind-body techniques such as heart breathing. And I'm putting the link of the video there, the heart breathing I put on that people are raving about. It really helps them to relieve their itchy skin, but idea is the same. It's because breath is like a bridge between mind and body, it'll calm your immune system down. So I do this a couple of times a day. When I get hives or something triggers the tightness in my chest, I do this or the joint pain or muscle pain, I do this a couple of times a day. So that's a very simple tool you can use right away, and let me know how that works out. So the video link is in the box below, and I'm gonna invite you guys. I'm preparing something really super fun and a little different. I'm gonna give a super fun and completely free for you, the free masterclass going in depth. So if you're ready to learn more, this rocking awesome natural stuff to improve your gut health. Therefore, you're gonna live painless, at least much reduced pain, and you're gonna get smarter and stronger, and you have your active life back. So that'll be awesome. So that's coming in September 11th, September 11th, Saturday, tentatively at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you stay tuned. When you download the top 3 Korean anti-inflammatory recipes, that way I'm gonna keep you posted about the event and all the good things coming. I'm gonna share some secrets. I'm gonna share some secret recipes, and I'm thinking about running a real raffle for the event. So I think it'll be super fun. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go have delicious, quick, easy lunch that heals my gut because it's time for healing, time for dinner with my loved one. That's one of the rituals that's very, very good for your immune system, which lowers inflammation in the body. All right, thanks for joining. It's so nice to see you all, and thanks for taking the time for your health, and your well-being is healing the earth. So when you heal yourself, you literally heal the things around you. So I love that you're here with me, and you're here committing and investing time in yourself, and I love that. All right, you guys are rocking. I'll see you next week on Thursday, all right, 6 p.m. Bye.